We're going to take a look at a topic that's dear to my heart, but one that's rarely talked about or exposed. And that has to do with analysis. Analysis of the game. For example, in football, you listen to the commentators on SportsCenter or even during the game, and you hear many different comments being made about the player, what he did in the past, and what they anticipate in the future, where he came from. You know, in other words, all nice background information, all very nice, good to listen to. But when you boil it all down, it's only good for the barroom discussion. How is that analysis, quote unquote, as they call it, going to make a better player? See, this is what I think of. When I'm going to analyze someone, I'm thinking, how can I make him better? I have to analyze what he's doing in order to make a better player. This is the bottom line. You're interested in making a better player. How can he perform better on the field? Well, in order to perform better on the field, you have to improve his skill execution. This is the bottom line. If you have a receiver, if he can't catch, what good is it? That's the skill. He has to learn how to catch. Now, the skill also is running. He has to run fast enough to get away from his opponent. That's a skill that must be learned and can be learned. What else does that receiver need? The ability to execute quick changes in direction. The ability to execute a good, quick, sharp cut. The cutting action is what enables him to get away from the defender. All he needs is one step. And a good cut will do this for him. So when I look at a player, these are the things I look for. Is he executing a good cut? Is he not catching the ball? Why not? Is he running fast enough? Is it because of his running technique? Is it because he has poor strength of the running muscles? What is the causative factor that's causing him to be slower or not fast enough? Can he accelerate quickly? What's involved in that acceleration? So these are the things that must be looked at. And if we see if there's a problem in any of these skill executions, then we can take remedial steps to improve them, so we can make the player better. This is what all coaching should revolve around. Coaches spend enormous time talking about strategy. Look at the playbooks that the players get in football. They have to study all these different plays. I'm not saying they're not important, they are important. But in order to carry out the play, what do they need? They need the physical and technical abilities to carry out the play. And once they can do this, you got great strategy. Coach, now you're a genius. But if you don't have the players who can execute, the coach looks like an idiot. And maybe in some cases he might be, mainly because he's expecting the players to perform certain things that they're not capable of doing. See, that's the key. So the coach has to be sharp enough to figure out, what are these guys capable of? I have to resolve or revolve my strategy around their abilities. But if I can't do that, my strategy is not going to work. That becomes the key. So the second part of that is, it's one thing to say, okay, now we need to improve, let's say, the runner's ability to accelerate, or his ability to cut, or his ability to run faster, or catch, whatever it might be. But then we need somebody capable of making the corrections that are needed to make that athlete better. Whether it be a technical change in his technique, or development of the physical qualities specific to that technique. We have the players today, especially in football, they're pumping iron, heavy iron. But does that mean they're getting better? No, because the training or the strength training has to be very specific to the skill execution. And if it doesn't correspond to the skill execution, all of that strength that they're gaining is not going to make that athlete better. That's the key. So, getting back to analysis, look at the difference in the analysis here. See, so as far as I'm concerned, we need more of the second kind of analysis. We have to analyze the player and his physical and technical abilities. Analyzing where he came from and how he was able to run that pattern. Oh, wasn't that a nice pattern? Oh, he was 2 steps ahead of the other person. Well, he didn't dive down like he should have. He should have stayed up high. These are all generalities. They're great to beat your gums about all day long in a bar room, or having a good discussion about something. It is what we see on, Sports Center and the commentators. But let's change that a little bit if we can. Let's look at how we can make a better performer. This is the beauty of all training. This is where training should be devoted, instead of more of the barroom discussion type. With that, we'll see much better play, much more interesting, much more exciting. Now, to get a little bit more information on some more examples of what I consider to be BS in sports, I strongly recommend you take a look at the book, Sports, Is It All BS? It takes a look at many different myths that are constantly perpetuated in football as well as in other sports. And it kind of gives a background of where we are in sports today when it comes to improving player performance. How we rely more on myths rather than real happenings or reality. But I think in the book you get some great ideas that'll help change your thinking as well as what you do in training in order to become a better performer.